And welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou, the Golden State Warriors beat the Miami Heat 123-110. I feel like I'm back in my element. We have Tim playing our music. It took us a few shows to figure out how to do this thing on YouTube, and at best, we're at big gym levels right now. Hands thrown in the air. Tim's telling us we're doing a great job, and everyone else is messing up. But anyway, no, man, I don't want to go into negativity. I thought that was a fun Warriors game overall.
That felt, especially the second half, that felt like what we watched 4 months ago, right? That felt like a winning championship basketball team that is not going to lose big games. That's what that felt like. Best team in basketball.
Yeah, I mean, look, Fitz is hilarious because he has points to make, and he's going to drive them home, But the Miami Heat are one of the best run teams in the in the NBA, and whenever the Warriors play them, it's kind of fun. They're a good team. There's some back and forth. Yeah. There's a little showmanship there, and I thought that's what we saw tonight. I thought the Warriors looked super motivated. You could tell they wanted to. They wanted to win this game because they're about to hit a 6-game road trip on the East Coast. So they were like, we're not leaving with a loss. We probably dropped one too many games at home to start the season. So there's that going into it. And, it always starts with the best players with the Warriors. And so we'll start with Steph Curry because none of it really matters outside of him. And he's playing like the MVP of the league, and it's kind of subdued just because at this point, 30 efficiently is just the expectation. Tonight, 13 for 22. Let's throw up the box score. 7 for 14 from 3, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, just at 33, 7, and 9, like it's nothing, which has been kind of what he's been doing most of the season in general. And it's easy to forget how old he is, man. It's easy to forget that he's going to turn 35 around the All-Star break this year. No sign of slippage, just total control. Again, against what's Miami at worst? Like top 5 defensive team?
Top 5, at least. Smartest team in the NBA type, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the difference between these two? There's so many similarities, right? Steve Kerr and Spo are two of the best 5 coaches in the entire league, both defensive-minded coaches. I think if you're a fan base if you're fans of either team, I think Miami fans argue about Spo's offense, right? We Warriors fans do the same thing, but when it comes down to it, those two guys are probably the best defensive coaches in the NBA. Miami, I think the difference when you talk about Steph between these two teams is obviously Steph, right? Because they both have like kind of that Draymond at Bam. It's kind of similar, right? Like that anchor that can make a defense great. They even have Jordan Poole and Hero, right? Jimmy Butler, who's a good offensive player. They got a bunch of wings, shooters, Strus, all those guys. But the difference is, and when you watch these type of games, the difference is the Warriors have a top 10 player of all time, and the Miami that's not even close, right? Miami just has, when it comes down to it, Jimmy Butler struggling to get by someone. Tyler Hero is not really that guy offensively, and Strus and those guys are just running around offense. And Bam frustrates me, but Bam had a good game tonight. But it's always the difference. The difference is that the Warriors have Steph. We saw that against Boston in the finals. The Warriors have Steph. We saw that against Memphis, saw it against Dallas, right? The difference is they have the best player on the court, and tonight it was obvious. When it came down to it, Sam, I'm going to start calling the last 6 minutes of halves the adults are in. That's what I'm going to start calling it. The adults are in. So the Warriors put the adults in with about 6 minutes left today. They were up by 3, I believe, with 6.5. They win the game by like 10, right? 13, actually, right there. So it was, it's Steph, it's Klay made some big shots, Wiggins. And by the way, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, are they the best offensive rebounders in the entire NBA? Best trio of offensive rebounders. So but like you said, it all comes back to that guy who's the best player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, look, it's easy to watch Miami and just be like, oh, I'd love to have Gabe Vincent on this team. I'd love to have Caleb Martin. I'd love to, and they do have like a lot of players who I would love to have on the Warriors, but you lose sight of the bigger thing, which is they would trade all of them for number 30. You know, they're like, we can find another Max Strus. We can find another Caleb Martin. Might not find him overnight because it's not that easy, just being honest about it. But like, you can't find generational players like Steph Curry overnight. And to me, that's the big difference. I think Steph is at this point, I'm not going to pull the numbers up, but he's averaging around 31, 6 and 6, which gets back to the general point, which is just like the ease at which he walks into 30 and shooting 44% from 3 on ridiculous volume and shots that everyone knows he's going to take. I mean, Steph at one point pulled from 40, and you're just like, yeah, that's normal. That's just what he does. Doesn't matter. Still going to shoot 44% on those shots, It just out of his mind. So got to call that out first, because sometimes I feel like we're too into the weeds and we want to talk about Moses Moody and Jordan Poole and Patrick Baldwin, Kuminga and Wiseman. And like, I get it. It's fun, but never lose sight of the fact that number 30's once in a lifetime. And it's, you're not going to replicate that. Even if you win beyond him, you're just not going to replicate the feeling that a player like that gives you.
0 free throws. Two things. 1, 0 free throws. The man plays honest basketball. He is the most fun player to watch in sports right now. Him and Patrick Mahomes are the 2 most fun players I see in sports today. It's not close. And then number 2, one thing I really noticed about him is he's making the pump fake threes now. I remember being very frustrated the last 2 years watching him kind of pump fake coming off the screen and then shooting, like not just going straight up, but like half pump and shooting, and he would never make it. Now he's making all of it, so it's kind of absurd. So I forgot that he's turning 25 come February. I forgot that he's going to be February when the playoffs come around. I know you mentioned
35.
30. What did I say?
25.
Yeah, no way. He looks 25. You're
just in one of those midlife crisis moods. You're trying to pretend you're not in your 30s.
Dude, my hangover says otherwise. It does though. It does. The easy comparison for me is it does feel like LeBron. Because you see LeBron 4 years ago, 3 years ago, he was, in my opinion, also at his physical and mental peak, and Steph is that right now. Absurd. Just absurd. What he did to Tyler Hero, pretty sure that's illegal. Pretty sure you can get sent to jail for that. That was one
of my favorite things about it, by the way. It's they decided to mismatch hunt Tyler Hero a little bit. It was a little like, this is getting tight. Let's put the weak link through this. Let's make him have to guard Steph Curry. Have fun, buddy.
Yeah. Well, which is interesting, right? Because it was Jordan Poole didn't play in crunch time, which I thought was the right move against a team like this. And they're kind of similar-ish players. I think Poole's a lot better, but they're similar-ish, right? And so I thought Steve Kerr did the right thing. He went big to close it, and I know we're going to talk about a lot of these other players coming up, but I just love that lineup now. I know we talked about this last pod, Sam, but you never thought that Draymond and Looney front court would work, but Draymond and Looney front court is freaking incredible.
It's hilarious.
It's incredible.
We spent like 2/3 of last year being like, they can't win in crunch time with this lineup. Now it's like, no need for a big man. Good.
You can't win without them. You can't win without those guys in the lineup. It's absurd. It's absurd.
Let's talk Draymond real quick.
Yeah.
10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Obviously, the box score doesn't do Draymond numbers.
Of course.
I think Draymond's been phenomenal to open the season. He looks quicker than he looked in the playoffs. If you believe the back was limiting him, this is evidence for that. Because in my opinion, he just looks faster than he did back then. Defense is always going to be there. IQ is always going to be there, but a little more aggressive attacking the basket. Overall, just looks honestly as good as he looked to open last year, if not a little better. And it's interesting because when you think about the backdrop of him not getting the extension and him being like, I'm playing for it. Yeah, man, he looks great.
It's pretty obvious that he was hurt in the postseason now, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious. We didn't really talk about that. I think you and I sat here a lot and talked about them struggling, but it just never occurred to me that back was still bothering. I mean, I always feel like when you're out there, right? With Klay, same thing. You're out there. But it's obvious that Dre was compromised. It's actually pretty amazing he didn't bring any of that stuff up, knowing Clutch and how they operated. It's crazy that he didn't bring up, had it
Hardest road.
The documentary was crazy, by the way. Of the couple weeks, we're not talking about that. Draymond has been incredible. In his words, absolutely incredible. Some of the cool stuff is he's actually cutting to the rim. It's really not about making those layups, although you always want him to make those layups, but he's taking them with force, with actual force.
Yeah,
right? Like today I watched, I was busy. I couldn't catch the end of the Nets Mavs game, but I saw the beginning of the game and I saw Ben Simmons pretty much have a wide open. He actually didn't play that bad. Simmons didn't, but he went viral because he had a wide open 5-footer. He could have taken another dribble and just dunked it, right? Peak Ben would have done that, but he shoots like a hesitant floater, airballs it, and he's just not playing with force. Who always says with force? Is it Steve Kerr that always says that? I think he always says that. And so I think Draymond's doing that on offense right now, which is pretty encouraging. Can you say that it's contract year, Draymond? Can we say that? I don't know if it's technically is next year is his contract year, but anyway, he's playing like it.
Yeah, and he said, I'm going to have a great season. I'm going to feel motivated by it. And you never really know how people react to it, but it's not surprising to me Draymond's reacting to it. I mean, do not confuse him punching a teammate and kind of having discretions with him not being a phenomenal basketball player. Would I prefer he didn't do that sort of stuff? Obviously, and am I willing to say like you have to factor that into your decision making with do you want to keep him going forward? Like, yes, those are decisions that GMs, owners, coaches have to make. Like it's just reality. But he's a very special player. Like it's just not that easy to find guys who can do all the things he can do, namely anchor a defense, get you out in transition, make all the high IQ plays he makes. Like a lot of the Warriors offense is based off of the fact that they generate easy offense, and who leads to easy offense more than Draymond Green?
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of ums today. I gotta cut that out the pod. Producer Tim, help me out here, brother. Thank you. You look at the game tonight, and there's a lot of highly paid players on the Warriors. There's a lot of highly paid player on the Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson gets a lot of money to do absolutely nothing out there. Drummond gets what, 20, 25 million a year, and his next contract isn't going to be much more than that, right? So, but you watch the games, and especially when you watch these playoff games, and you cannot tell me that Draymond, whatever his contract is rated, that he's at that level. He is a lot higher than that. He is a lot higher than what Poole's getting paid, what Duncan Robinson getting spent. This is not slander for the other guys. It's just, I think you talked about it once. It's just those guys don't get paid. Those defensive goons, glue guys that can't get a bucket, right? Like those guys don't get $30 million. And maybe that was part of what Draymond's angst was. But dude, whatever he did to get through that, or maybe that punch helped him get through it. I don't know. Maybe he like unloaded and it helped him, vent out the frustrations. That's his therapy, right? Whatever it is, dude, he is out there.
Deepak Chopra told him to just hit pull and get rid of it. Get rid of that negative energy. We're good to go. We're good. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like I say, it's two separate conversations. Would I prefer he not fly off the handle like that? Of course. I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think anyone does. But I'm not going to pretend he's not as good a player as he is because he does stuff that I don't like. Like the reality is that's how life works. Sometimes people you work with are not your favorite people in certain things, but you have to make judgment calls on if they provide enough value to justify it. In his case, he does. And I'm sorry. Yep. And it's, there's a lot of games. We're in game 5. That's 77 more of these suckers and hopefully some playoffs too, So no reason to get into it, but it always hits me. It always irks me when people are like, just get rid of him. I'm just like, all right, it's an emotional response. You're not like thinking this through the whole way and putting it into context. Yep. Let's talk about another player on the Warriors who's playing phenomenal basketball, who's less of a lightning rod, Andrew Wiggins. Another excellent, consistent two-way game from him. 18
Amazing.
points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He's averaging over a steal and a block a game. He's in that fantasy gold category when you're getting threes, steals, and blocks. And fantasy's fun, but like he's doing it in a meaningful way in terms of winning too. So
10 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. Also now the best defender on the team. We talk about him kind of taking Klay's spot, guarding the quick guards. I do think they'll need another guy to share that role. Maybe that's Dante, maybe that's Moody, maybe that's Kuminga, but Andrew Wiggins is that guy right now. Also played 37 minutes, which is as much as Steph did, which tells you that Steve wanted to win this game. He wasn't gonna mess around. And you have a take about Wiggins. I'm not sure if I agree, but we spent a lot of time talking about him being the second most consistent player in the postseason. Do you still hold that? Do you still think that that's the case for the Warriors? And do you think that that's going to be the case for the Warriors this entire season?
Consistent's tough. Best is tough because even when Klay was the number 2 option, I would argue Draymond was the more important player.
Correct.
But I do think at its core, Wiggins is pushing to replace Klay in terms of value on this team. He obviously checks the best perimeter player, which is something Klay used to do. He also is pretty close to a reliable 20 points efficiently every night. Does he do it the same way Klay does? No. There's more cutting, there's more slashing, but I really think the rebounding opened up his game to the point where I'm like, this is the second best. This is the number 2 option on this team, because the Wiggins a year ago, if his shot was working, he gets you 25 to 30. If his shot was off, he's not really doing too much. But unlike Klay, people aren't guarding him like he's the greatest shooter of all time. Right. They guard Klay like that. Current Wiggins, if his shot's not working, he's like, I'm just going to crash the glass and get 10 points off offensive rebounds. Yep. And he did that in the playoffs, and it caught us all off guard because he'd never really done it with consistency previously in his career. And he's carrying it forward this year. Tonight's a perfect example. 3 offensive rebounds. Off the top of my head, I can think of 2 buckets he got, just, swoop in, get the ball, put it back up, boom, points right there. And those are the type of things that preclude you from having those consistent 9-point nights, which was kind of a Wiggins thing in the past, where it's like, yeah, some nights it's 20, some nights it's 8, right? And you're, the consistency is just, it's impressive. He's in his prime. He's exceeded every expectation I've had, to be honest with you. I'm not going to pretend I saw it coming in any sort of way. And he is, I don't know, it's Steph, it's Wiggins, it's Draymond in many ways. Players around them are a little more interchangeable in some capacity.
Yeah, I'm with you. And he's never looked as comfortable and confident as he does right now. The way he's shooting those shots, I think he expects to make those shots. He's also getting big, not just offensive rebounds, but defensive rebounds. He's pretty obviously the most athletic dude on the court, especially against Miami. Miami's not athletic. And neither is Golden State, really, especially when they don't play some of the younger, especially when they don't play Kuminga. He's the most athletic guy on the court. And I don't know, I feel like he's always known that. But when you do, when you've done it before on the biggest stage and you do it against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Robert Williams, I was watching Game 5 highlights the other day. He was cooking Robert Williams. He was giving him a shoulder in the lane and then doing a flip shot. Game 5 at home, do or die, right? 2-2 series. That dude's cooking Robert Williams down the stretch. When you do that, right? He's looking at this late October game against Miami. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I'm that guy, right? I'm comfortable. I'm gonna get paid $27 million on average a year for the next 4 or 5 years. I'm good, and I think that's where Andrew Wiggins is now. Didn't know that he was such close friends with Jordan Poole. You see the post game interview; those guys are so happy together. That's pretty cool. It's good to see this team smile after what's happened, right? The last couple of weeks. So. Yeah, I think my pushback to that is it always does. It's just different ways that they impact the game. I do think, when you look at the Lakers when they won the championship, it's LeBron, AD, and everyone else is kind of just role players, right? And you look at Giannis, it's Steph and Giannis. Steph and Giannis have this kind of similar thing where you look at the supporting cast and you're like, yeah, they're way They're like 2 tiers below him, but they're all in that same tier. They're all like all tier 3-ish guys, but there's nobody in the tier 2. And then you've got Steph and Giannis just peak tier 1,
Yeah,
1,
it's
1,
one
right?
superstar and it's a bunch of guys who are like kind of all-star-ish. Like they're
Right?
good, they're good players that everyone would want them on their team, but it's that one guy that unlocks them.
That's a good way to put it. It does remind me like Kobe did that when Shaq left. He did that where he had Powell, Lamar, Ron Artest, or Metta World Peace, right? He had a bunch of role guys that helped him win a couple titles. And, there's just different ways, I think, to win championships. And Steph went from, Draymond used to be a lot better back then in the first iteration. Then you add KD, then you have 2 top 5 guys. And now it's Steph, and then like it feels like 3 super role players. And then Jordan Poole, who's just a lightning rod, right? He could just drop 30. So interesting. I think those guys are all at the same level to me in terms of like same level tier. Because Klay looked a lot better in the second half. Can we talk about him for a second? It's been kind of frustrating, and he looks kind of depressed out there. But he looked a lot better in the second half.
Let's talk Klay. We have the box score up if you're watching on YouTube. 6 for 19, 5 for 14 from 3. At one point it was 3 for 14. So he did start making more shots at the end, but you're right. Like, it's not about the numbers because everything looks good coming off of Klay's hands. Like, The funniest thing about him is like, it does not matter what kind of shape he's in or anything. It's like shot goes up. You're like, oh, looks good to me, and then it goes in or it doesn't. Tell me what you mean though, by him looking sad.
He's someone that, I don't know if it's not about worrying about people taking a spot or anything like that. I don't think it's a Jordan Poole thing. To me, I think is he thought that he would be back to 2019 now. He thought that because he had gone through the postseason and finals and had won, he thought with the full offseason he'd be back. But he doesn't know that when you become 30, Sam, when you get to 31, he doesn't know. He doesn't know you got to work a lot harder to get back to equilibrium. And I think that he understands now that it's a way harder path to become who he was. I actually am pretty confident that he gets there. Like come December, I think he's going to be there to where he was last season and better. I just think that he looks depressed because he thought he'd be there right now. And he's not. He's not. So it's going to take a couple months. And you can just see he's just really sad about it every game.
Yeah, he's definitely in his own head about it. And in true to Klay form, I would not be surprised if he hit 8 threes tomorrow. Or sorry, Saturday when they play their next game, or something like that. But it's like the frustration of not being able to do what you want to do is clearly a Klay thing. The funny thing about Klay is I feel like his defense has been better than I expected in the early part of the season. And that's been the general theme of this team. The starting lineup looks ready to win a title and everyone else looks awful. They actually look better tonight, just to be clear. But it's like, if you want to say that there's this lineup differential, you have to at least be honest about the fact Klay's defending well in the starting lineup just as well as anyone, right?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I agree. Before we get to the goons, we can kind of end it with that line, right? The starting lineup, the top 6 guys, they're ready to win a championship right now. They can do it today. They're the best 6 on the floor, any floor in the NBA today. The rest of the team, wait and see. That's what the regular season is for. We've got 77
more of them. Yeah, I will say more. Let's talk about them just a little bit before we get to the goons.
Okay.
JaMychal Green, best game as a Warrior. I know it's game number 5, so it's not like we're, it's
love it.
But I thought he officially asserted himself a little more, did some of the things I expect him to do. He didn't hit any outside shots, but he was very aggressive on the glass, 4 offensive rebounds, and just generally his presence is felt, right? James Wiseman. I thought this was Wiseman's best game of the season. Points are not my measure for that. It's just more like feel and floating into the game. They didn't bleed minutes the way they did the last few games with him. I thought his defense leaves some to be desired, but if it gets closer to neutral, I'll take it right now.
If it's neutral, I would be freaking. I might run around. I might streak naked and. I live next to a school. Maybe I won't do that. But with you on JaMychal Green, he's really athletic. He's a lot more because I have in my head that he's Otto Porter's replacement. I just thought he would be like a really low
you're comparing him to Otto, and I know what you're talking
in my
about.
head, and all of a sudden, JaMychal Green just soaring and getting off. I don't think he's as smart as Otto Porter. I don't think he really knows. He didn't cut as well. He didn't space as well. He didn't make the same passes. Definitely not like Otto, but the dude is very athletic. Also, I think he might be a better shooter or more willing shooter, quicker release, all of that. With you on that. The Wiseman stuff, I don't have anything on him. I will agree with you on that. My one thing, and Steve Kerr brought this up, Samuel, at the end. Jonathan Kuminga, I've enough. I've had enough. DNP coach's decision tonight. I know Steve said you can't play more than 10 guys. I agree. You don't want to play 11.
Let's pull the tweet up just so we can talk about it as a family.
I didn't even see it. There you go. Okay. There you go. I'm getting frustrated because I feel like Kuminga has the ability to help this team now. I don't think that he's going to be out there as like a true detriment. It's not like he doesn't belong. It's not like his Chris Chio's out there and just shouldn't be on a basketball court. So I'm frustrated. I think he should play. I also think that with the road trip coming up with some back-to-backs that he's going to get a lot of burn here coming up. So I don't know if I'm worried about it. It's just frustrating, Sam. It's killing me. I want to see Kuminga play.
Yeah, from friend of the show, Shayna Rubin.
Friend of the show, Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr on Kuminga's DNP. It's hard to play more than 10 guys. It just is. Asked about how he's taking it. He's not happy, and I don't want him to be happy. I want all my guys to want to be out there, but it's a necessary part of growth to learn how to win. Feels political. Here's my thought. I think Kuminga is not playing for a reason. And I'm not going to blame the coaches or anything for this. I think he's not doing something in practice, or he's doing something that is annoying them and they want him to do it. And I'm just curious what that thing is. That's basically what it comes down to, because to me, he has incredibly high upside, and not just long-term upside, but playoff upside for this team. So it feels a little like how they treated Jordan Poole with the tough love, and I'm curious to see how it plays out.
That's exactly what it feels like. It does feel like the Jordan Poole stuff redux, right? He just running it back, doing it again. And we were just as frustrated that time with Jordan Poole, right? In the second season when he gets sent down to the G League. Should they send Kuminga down to the G League? I don't know. But it's tough watching him not play right now. Though, back-to-back coming up, road games coming up. Draymond's going to sit a couple games. Klay's going to sit a couple games, right? Wiggins going to sit a couple games. So he's going to get his run. It's interesting because you're right. I do think it's not the talent stuff that's the reason why he's not playing. It feels like it's probably mental stuff why he's not playing, right? It's probably because they don't feel like when he played the other game, he came in and just played with zero energy. And I remember watching him in Summer League, same thing. He just didn't want to play in Summer League. And that's the kind of stuff that I think that it's obvious Steve Kerr knows this, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, and it does feel like they're trying to motivate him through the minutes this way, and we'll see if it plays out. I don't know. In my opinion, they need Kuminga come playoff time. And that's as much a positional thing as that. Well, okay. So fair needs a little dramatic, but if you were to ask me, could they use another 6'8" wing who can guard up a position? Yes. So he fits that skill set. But then again, every team in the NBA wants as many of those guys as possible. So maybe it's me just projecting what I want from him. Like, ultimately, I think part of it is at least related to the fact he's not rebounding the ball. You know, that's part of it too. But there's a lot of things. He's not playing enough for us to like go off of a data set that's like, oh, he's not doing X, you know?
Yeah. It would behoove the Warriors, I think, to your point, what you're trying to say. It would behoove the Warriors to develop Kuminga into a rotation player for the postseason. Perhaps that is more important than, say, developing James Wiseman into a JaVale McGee type player for the postseason. And so I think I agree.
Yeah.
So.
All
right.
Before we get to the Goons, I had one other player we want to talk about, which is Moses Moody and Jordan Poole. We didn't touch on them. When Steph has a game like this, we get way into it. So just gotta give those guys a little bit of a shout out. Jordan Poole not shooting the ball as much as I would expect, kind of weird, but the assists, the passing, it's there. And then Moses Moody, I mean, I refuse to believe he's 20 years old. Just the old man game, just vet look good. I think I know he wasn't getting minutes in the first couple of games. I have a hard time imagining he's not playing 20 minutes a game going forward.
I know, man. It just always feels that way, and then he'll play 10 minutes on Saturday, right? But
the feel's too high, man. The combo of feel shooting. He's good, man.
He's too good. He's just too damn good to not play, and he's too smart, and he just plays the way the Warriors play. I watch a lot of Kings games because they're kind of the only game at night on the West Coast other than the Warriors, and when the Warriors are playing, I'm watching the freaking Kings. I love myself some Keegan Murray, right? I loved myself some Tyrese Halliburton when he was on the Kings. I love myself some Franz Wagner, by the way, who was drafted after Kuminga. Moses Moody is on that same page. I love me some Devin Vassell, great fantasy player. They're already sitting Devin Vassell. They're already sitting him because the Spurs are a joke and they're already tanking in game 5.
Too good. He's winning this game.
Hilarious. Those guys are winning players. To what you said at first about wing guys that are going to be most important in the postseason. Those guys can play. Moses Moody, I would put potential to be right in that tier. Going to play winning basketball in the postseason. You're going to need him to guard, the Memphis Wings, the Dallas Wings, right? He's going to be able to play. Has to play. What did he play tonight? 17 minutes? Yeah, should be 27. Ty Jerome, 8 minutes. Hey, Ty Jerome didn't play bad tonight, by the way. I'm always ready to slander the two-way guy. I'm always ready, but, he wasn't bad.
You guys are just always terrible.
No,
yeah. You want to blame Chioza. You don't want to blame.
Always.
You don't want to blame Steph. It's awful.
Always.
Yeah,
all
right. Let's get to the Goons.
All
right, Jonathan, come up, my man. Oh, no camera.
Uh-oh.
Jonathan, what's up, man?
Is he alive?
Do we have our first YouTube fail?
Uh-oh. We might have to. You know what we have to do? I have to keep it moving.
Are we going to keep moving?
We might have to keep it moving.
Jonathan, my man.
I don't think he's making it. He's not making it. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, no.
Who we got next?
One man we can always count.
Oh, you're reliable.
Yo, shit. Hey, y'all caught me in the middle. Y'all caught me in the middle of going crazy. All right, yo, what's up? I was crushing a burrito. All right, what's up, y'all?
From where?
This place, Pinchas Tacos in LA.
Oh, okay, you're in
nice.
LA. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's good shit. Shitty city, but whatever. Get money here. Anyways, it was a don't get me in trouble, man. My girl in the other room. It was a cool game. First not full of lowlights game from Wiseman. He had like a weird thing where like he was magnetic to buckets. People were just like getting crazy floaters and step back threes just as long as he was in the vicinity of the shot. So he was getting those minus 50 net rating shits that made him seem like the worst player of all time.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him do that. I don't know what the fuck is up with the Kuminga thing. I honestly can't imagine what the hell it would be like outside of just a legitimate roster crunch. Like, I don't actually think he did anything to like piss anybody off in practice. Although if that happened, like if he was being like annoying, I don't think Kerr would let us know about it, especially not after the Draymond leak. Like, I think whatever is going on internally this year is going to be like, it's not getting out. If there whatever might have gotten out in years past, we're not getting shit this year. So I do think though once he does lock into the rotation, I think it's gonna be kind of like last year where he's gonna be hard to take out just because of the shit he's doing. But yeah, I'm happy to see Wiseman do well. Bam was cooking him for a second though. That was
it always surprises me where Bam's just. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
I was just gonna be like, but that's also unfair. Bam's an all-star. Bam's one of the best players in the league.
For sure.
I feel like I defend Bam the same way I defend Draymond. I have a soft spot for these dudes who just always don't get their respect.
Oh, speaking of Draymond, at the beginning of last season, before he hurt his back, he was an All-NBA level player. He's an All-NBA level player right now. Like, it's kind of weird because what y'all were saying, like, because Wiggins is a legitimate like all-star caliber player, but when Draymond's on this, it's weird to rank him because like all of his scoring is created off of weird fake triple handoffs and kind of like creative.
Yeah, it's there's no real context for it. It's not like it's not throw it to him on the wing and let him go to work. Yeah,
but damn, when he's playing like this, like how many guys are you taking over him? If you want to like,
the Warriors might have the best offensive and defensive player in the league.
My hot take is ever. Like I think the best like ever 1-2. We need like 2 more championships before I can like say it with my chest. But yeah. That's my hot take.
Yeah, 2 more. I might say it with a lot of stuff. I might say a lot of things. It's just Steph's the best offensive guy. I don't think it's close. And Draymond, when he's locked in like he is right now, it's a scary sight. It's a scary sight.
And
do you think there's anybody? I was gonna say, do you think there's anybody on the level of Steph and Giannis right now? Is there anybody else in that tier? Because a lot of people are going off at the beginning of the season, weirdly. Like everybody's scoring 30 a game. But
what Giannis did to the Nets, by the way, the other day was
yeah. To me, the next 2 are Jokic and maybe Luka. Mm-hmm. And so
KD looks okay. Looks pretty good to start the season.
Yeah, I mean he can score the ball, but like Jokic.
Friend of the show,
Jokic is tricky because he can make the entire team go, but then he sucks at defense, and like it's at a position that it matters, Facts. Like it's not like Steph where it's like, all right, you can get away with a point guard, and by the way, Steph's a fine defender, but like at center it's a bigger deal that he can't move.
Yeah,
I never know what to do with him because it's like you watch their games and you're like, this is clearly.
Well, he's
one of the best players in the.
He's a regular season GOAT. Regular as of right now. I mean, I watched Nikola Jokic eat AD alive last night. Every second was amazing, and you're just sitting there and you're just like,
when he hit him with the Sombor shuffle, that's my favorite move. It's just so disrespectful.
How's he shooting with his left leg off the ground? You know what I mean? Like what is that going to? Anyway, Luka and Jokic.
Luka's already up to 28% body fat. I love it.
Dude, he's so fat. He's so fat. It's absurd. I tweeted this earlier. Luka, Jokic, and Steph, 3 of the top 4 or 5 guys in the NBA they don't look like they should be 3 of the top 5 guys in the NBA. I mean, look at them. You know what I mean? Like LeBron, Giannis makes a lot more sense. KD even, and then you look at Luka's fat ass, and they're like, dude, that guy averages 35 a game, easy.
I feel like Luka plays like all those white hoopers who go to the rec center who you never think like you're like, all right, hey, I'm gonna make him prove it. I'm gonna make him say he's got to score before I run out, and then.
Yeah,
it's down 7-2.
Yeah, he's cooking you.
But he's doing it in the NBA against everyone. That's like where it's just, at a certain point you just gotta be like, I don't know what to do with him. Obviously, the fact he can't move is probably a problem on defense. But
yeah, shit.
What do you have tonight? Another 40?
He is, and it's similar to LeBron. Because Harden was one of those stat guys where it was like you could tell he was going to get him. Harden's an all-time great, blah, 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 whatever. But like when it comes to accumulating stats, like some guys like LeBron do it effortlessly, where it's like LeBron could have a shitty game, he's getting 27, 7, and 7, right? Jokic is the same way where he can have
it's in the flow. He's like getting the team going, and then he's like, all right, I got to press right now because we can't get a bucket. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Jokic will have like a 30, 15, and 8. And it's like, man, you got your numbers. You did. You did. I don't know. I mean, shit, like, hey, you're an impactful player. We know you're a winning player. And you got those numbers. So like, I don't really know what to say about it, but it doesn't hit sometimes the same way that some of the other guys. Because I would say Luka, I didn't know what to do with Luka for a while, but I think I've capitulated. I think I got him third. And then Jokic slightly behind. I think Jokic, KD, Bron. That's probably
definitely not Embiid, by the way. Embiid, who was in the top
man. He was in mine, and I don't know. He folded. He failed me. I had to take my L on that.
He's
French now.
Embiid gets pushed up the rankings because he's likable. Like, and I think he's hilarious. Like,
for sure.
He seems like someone I would enjoy being on my team, personality wise. But he's figured out how to joke his way out of being trolled for always flopping in the worst moments and failing. Anyway, that's my.
Anyway, that is Philly's
Ty.
Bad basketball watch. Appreciate you, brother.
No doubt.
Philly is the worst watch in the NBA. There's
goodness.
not even a question. There's not even a question in my mind. Who is a worse watch than
I'd rather
Philly?
watch Detroit. I'd rather watch Jaden Ivey and Cade. I shit you. I'd rather watch.
Well, we about to watch them on playback together on Sunday.
Sunday. During
the Niners game. It may make the Niners game better. May make it's hard to say, but we're gonna double screen it. It'll be fun. Ryan, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, guys? Steph is the most in control of himself I've seen him in a regular season ever. It's like he took that finals performance against Boston. He's like, I could get any bucket at any time in the crunch time, and it's just been absolutely amazing to watch. And as I was reading Kerr's post-game press conference, the thing that stuck out to me about the Kuminga stuff was he said he needs to learn how to win, essentially, which reads as him saying he wants to get in his bag, and he's kind of annoyed at that, and he's trying to get him back into the GP2 stuff that he was doing last year. So that's what I see with that. But other than that, defense looked way better. It was in half court. I don't feel like Miami got many good looks. It was all transition stuff because we threw the ball to them 20 times. So,
yeah. Ryan, appreciate you.
Yeah.
As always. I'm not ready to.
My guy, Ryan. What's that?
I said I'm not ready to get into breaking down just how terrible some of the passing was in the Warriors game. We're just gonna call it Game 5.
We're just vibing, 19 turnovers, just typical dubs. Ryan, by the way, Ryan makes a good point about the Kuminga winning basketball stuff. We'll get into it again, but that's 100% why he's not playing. He's he's going out there and he said, "I'm him." That's what Kuminga does when he gets on the court. He said, like Kalena said, he said, "I'm him." Like, literally the other day he goes in the game against whatever.
God, and I in my head, all I can hear is Kalena going, "I'm him."
I'm him. And Kalena's gotta how Karl Anthony Towns deepens his voice. Sometimes I'm like, Kalena, you gotta go lower. You gotta baritone it, Kalena. You gotta go,
No, anyway. we absolutely do not need him pulling Karl Anthony Towns' voice and modulation.
Anthony Edwards. I don't like him. Dude's talking about how Anthony Edwards shouldn't be eating Popeyes or whatever. Like, dude, what are you
guys think that's funny, but to me as a professional athlete, I think that's
fuck off, Cat. And I like Cat.
I think you like 9 threes a game at 40%.
But dude, stop. Anyway, Mick Walter, bring us home.
Yeah, yo, what's up? Dude, what a game. Steph dropping another 30 bomb on everyone. It's fucking awesome. I can't believe it. Kuminga's not getting any minutes, but it sounds like he's not working his ass off, so that's okay. Maybe he just needs to hang out in Santa Cruz a little bit and get some fire lit under him. But they're going to need that later, right? Someone that's hustling and kind of crashing the boards from that 4 spot. So we'll see what happens there. But I liked what you guys were talking about, like who's in that tier with Steph on the top end. I really think Luka's there. I mean, he's he's just phenomenal. I mean, he wrecked the Nets tonight, which was great. So he just took over that overtime, just finding people right.
Hey, McWalters, how petty do you feel petty when you root against the Mets? Or sorry, the Nets.
The Nets?
Sorry,
no.
Now I got the Mets in my mind because we're trying to get the trumpets going for you beforehand. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. You know, like No, I do not feel petty about rooting against the Nets. They're awful. They're like a fake franchise. They tried to rebrand themselves
because I have a little mind fuck about it. Because on one hand, I have a soft spot for friend of the show Kevin, because he did help. He contributed. It's a very important part of 2 title teams, and I'm not going to be a hater. But on the other hand, I really don't like the way they play basketball. And part of me really does enjoy watching Kyrie Irving dribble 84 times before taking a shot while Ben Simmons is standing there with his hands up like this, wondering why nothing is going on, and everyone's going to just blame everyone except for the 2 most obvious candidates in it. So anyway, I'm talking myself in a circle, but I'm just looking for you to validate me for hating.
Oh, hate away. Hate away. I mean, like, Josiah owns them. I don't have any love for Josiah. It's totally fine. I don't hate him either. He's neutral to me. But, it's one of those, like, whatever. And then Katie leaving to go to New York. Whatever. Kyrie there, whatever. Like, they're not very good. So why do we care so much about? I mean, other than it's a great story, right?
The artist.
Yeah, maybe he'll do something good. I mean, there's always the second round of the playoffs. Like there's goals that they can have, like realistic goals. Maybe Ben Simmons decides to dunk the ball once. Small steps. Kyrie, maybe he gets the flu shot. We don't know, right? Baby steps. Baby steps. Yeah, we'll start with the flu shot.
Start with the scarier shot, the less scary shot.
Yeah, exactly. You start with the less scary shot. Nothing bad happens. You can move up to the better one. I mean, that's the team. Baby steps. We got a coach who's never coached before. He just sat on the Warriors bench forever, absorbing how Kerr didn't know how to run his lineups, and then he left. So now he runs crazy lineups like Kerr used to. And then he's wondering why things aren't going well. They're a mess. So, but it's a fun hate watch. I mean, who doesn't want to like have a fun hate watch?
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, we should be stoked about the Dubs. I mean, other than the fact that everyone thinks that James Wiseman can jump an extra foot than what it's possible. I don't really understand that. Like either he's not timing his jumps right, or no one knows how to pass him the ball, and I don't think it's the latter. But even Steph said in the postgame, "Hey, we got to do better on our entry passes and our passes in general, right?" And that's a common thing. It's totally
the best human being.
He's just gonna politic it away.
A 35-point triple double where he hits the most ridiculous pass. Like my entry passes weren't good enough.
Steph is just the best type of that. If you're talking about a leader of a basketball team, that's what you want. It's not another. Look at LA. LA another. Oh my God, I thought you were wearing a Lakers hat, Sam, on camera for a second. I was
Come on, man.
A little rattle. I don't know. I thought it was a Lakers hat.
I'm offended you'd think I'd even do that.
That's true. That's facts. Anyway, my point was you do have one. I know you have one.
No.
All Chinese people have it's a rule that all Chinese people have Lakers gear. It's just like the Lakers are the biggest brand. And anyway, my point was to say the Lakers are
you find a street market where you can get one. Yeah,
I'm going on like 20 tangents today.
I mean, you have Dodgers gear too. Is that also a requirement? Because
I could never. Although it wouldn't surprise me.
I do own a Dodger hat, so.
But you're not a Giants. Like I'm not a Giants fan. So it doesn't concern you that the Dodgers winning the NL West 20 times and then never winning the World Series, like it's just
I do think that's hilarious. Actually, it's like at one point I was envious of their ability to put together a winner, but now I'm just like, it just feels like some James Harden bullshit. So
I mean, how good is it? How good is it for Gruber? Gruber's got the Warriors. Gruber's got the Dodgers. Maybe he could own something else in the Bay Area to help us out? Who knows? That guy, everything he touches turns to gold. Sony turns to gold. I mean, I don't know what's up with Goober, but everything he touches is good.
Yeah. Anyway, we will. Is that it? Walter, you got anything else? We out of here? See you on Saturday?
Oh no, wait, road trip. We're going 4-1, 5-0. I'm hoping for 5-0. The only game I'm worried about is the Pels game because it's the second of a back-to-back. But I think 4-1 should be a total reasonable expectation for all of us, and we should be stoked to watch it. Watch them beat up on some kids over the weekend. It will be great.
Good stuff.
Let's go. Appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight.